Yates, Kevin Blackstone, Bill Barnwell's won 3 straight, looking for a 4-peat, but it's the feuding Pablo Torre who stands in everyone's way today. Pablo, sit tight. You're going to get a bonus. You're going to love the way you look.
Oh, let's do it.
But first today, Jets, Patriots. I've asked 100 sports fans the number one thing that will decide tonight. And Eli Manning Hall of Fame survey says, let's go around the horn. Oh, Pablo Torre.
Do I get more points? Oh,
I told you Family Feud is my favorite game show. It's my dream job. That's the one I want to host. The points are going up. Here's the reason why. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the greatest run in the history of Family Feud. Our friend Pablo Torre. Roll tape.
We need 146. Name a coin you throw into a fountain to make a wish. You said the penny.
Yes.
Survey said.
Oh my God.
Why?
Unbelievable. Pablo Torre. And you get to dance on the stage with Steve Harvey. I am in awe of you. It's the singular coolest thing anyone I've ever known has done. How many bonus points do you get on Around the Horn for winning the Family Feud? We now know the answer. It's the all-time record on Around the Horn. 176, the precise number you scored on Family Feud. Wow. Feel free to take the rest of the show off. Everybody else, let's go around the horn. Thursday night football is where we start. Patriots at Jets. Both are 1-1. You know this. What else do we know about these two teams? Not a lot. Maybe we have more questions about the Jets or about the Patriots. Actually, let me ask. Do you have more questions about the Jets or the Patriots? And what are the answers tonight? Around the horn, Bill Barnwell.
Tony, I'm a little confused about the Jets' offense because I don't know if they know what they are yet. First couple games, 3 drives in each of those first 2 games, 60-plus yards. All the other drives, 30 yards or less. You figure, okay, maybe they're hitting some big plays. They have 1 pass of more than 30 yards downfield this year, and that is that free play Allen Lazard caught for a touchdown week 1. So Patriots are a smart team. They're going to play disciplined football, and they're going to take away your best receivers. What Bill Belichick has done for years, now Gerard Mayo taking the same kind of tack. So if you're the Jets, you have to figure out if you can hit big plays, be more consistent on offense, and if Aaron Rodgers can find any of his other receivers.
That's the number one question you have tonight. I don't hear an answer just yet, but hold on to that thought. Clinton Yates, around the horn to you. You have more questions about the Jets or Patriots?
I would say the Jets, and I would say I'm extremely confused, Bill, not just slightly about who this team is offensively. I mean, look, in that game against the Titans, I did not walk away thinking the Jets are a better football team. I just walked away thinking, wow, they actually just managed to pull that out considering the clock just stopped. The Titans got another kick block. There was an absurd turnover on offense in which they probably should have been more in that game than they were, and Rodgers did not look like he was comfortable. There was a intentional grounding play on a non-pressure one time, and he's just doesn't seem to be on the same page with whatever it is those receivers are trying to do. They can win games if they don't make mistakes, but when they come up against a decent team, not even a good one, I think that they're in line for losses, and I think the Patriots are going to be that team.
That was a little bit of a hint of how you foresee tonight going. Kevin Blackstone, when it comes to questions and answers in tonight's game.
I have more questions about the Jets. I've already gotten some answers about the Patriots. Look, the Patriots would be 2-0 if not for a blocked field goal the other week. They put together a running game with the talent that they have in Stevenson and Gibson. Jacoby Brissett is kind of managing what offense he has there. And I don't know what the odds makers are thinking in this particular game because the Patriots and the Jets in this game, you're talking about a team that has had trouble putting pressure on the quarterback in the Jets, and they've lost Jermaine. They didn't have Jermaine Johnson anyway. Brissett can maybe take advantage of that. And also a team that's been giving up 4.7 yards per game in the rush, and that is in the Patriots' favor. So I see the Patriots as being the favorite team going into this particular game.
Pablo Torre, like I said, 160 points, our all-time leader. And now you have a chance to build on that, on the questions and answers you need to see tonight.
Yeah, KB mentioned what do the odds makers think. Let's talk about what the Patriots thought about themselves 2 weeks ago. They were not confident in themselves. My question is about the Patriots. They didn't feel confident enough to start Drake May at quarterback. They could not defend him, right? The question the Patriots are currently finding out about themselves is, wait a minute, are we going to be like okay this year? Does that then change what we're going to go for in terms of our draft position, the decisions we all have to make as a team? The Jets, plenty of questions. But Tony, the biggest question about the Patriots is, are we taking ourselves seriously now? And after beating the Bengals and losing in overtime in that way you mentioned against the Seahawks, they're going to tilt towards a decision that may not be representative of the
Are you seriously asking whether the team takes themselves seriously going to, they're trying to win tonight's ball game. Wow, this is how you give away the all-time scoring record a little bit, Pablo.
I like the cushion.
I'm going to go back to Bill Barnwell here. You gave us some questions going in tonight. Give us some answers tonight. Something you're sure of, and who you got in tonight's game?
I am sure that the Patriots are going to try and push the ball further downfield, and I am also sure it is not going to work because they have the worst receivers in all of football. I'm going to take the Jets in this game.
Pablo Torre, who you got?
I am taking the Jets, a top 10 defense, allegedly at times last season. Looks like one tonight, I think.
Kevin Blackstone?
I'll let you know I'm taking the Patriots.
I heard that before. Clinton Yates.
Short week. Got to keep this guy upright if you're the Jets offensive line. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Pablo, I do think the Patriots are taking themselves seriously, and they're going to win this game tonight.
We've been horned. We'll move on. Next story is Bryce Young. He was available to reporters in Carolina today for the first time since he was benched. Reports this week he's been taking his reps in practice and going forward. Carolina Panthers are going forward with now QB1 Andy Dalton. They posted a hype video for their new quarterback Andy Dalton, which drew the attention of some, and also said they're not giving up on the future of Bryce Young, not even thinking about trading Bryce Young. How do you hear that? Around the horn, Clinton Yates.
Not well. I've been saying ever since I first stepped on this show years ago, Tony. You know it. Quarterback is the worst coached position in the league. And this kind of stuff is part of it. It's not just what happens on a week-to-week basis. It's how different franchises manage these operations. And you think to yourself, if this is what you were going to do, why did you pick this guy where you did? Clearly your team needs other things. Clearly you don't have a plan. You're not even playing him in preseason, something I'm never going to understand. And then he comes out and looks terrible. Of course you're going to have to bench the guy. This is how you don't do things in terms of preparing a young man. So, no, I don't take much of it in terms of the larger look at what Bryce Young should be. The Panthers have no idea what they're doing, and that seems to be obvious, even in the most basic of NFL.
But the one idea they do have, Clinton, the news this week was they're not thinking about trading him. After benching him and making that public decision, do you believe they should be thinking about trading him?
I don't believe the Panthers are in a situation where they've got the talent evaluation to determine whether or not that guy's going to be
understood. I feel like you're doing.
I hope for him he gets out of town.
But Bill, I'll bring you in here. You heard the Panthers say they're not thinking about trading him. But earlier this week, when this news broke, we had you on the show, and you said this is the end of Bryce Young in Carolina. So please expound.
Yeah, I mean, this is the 5th quickest benching for any top 5 pick at quarterback since 1970. You don't do that by accident. You don't do that for a week or two break. And think about it. When they brought in this new staff, this Dave Canales staff this offseason, you have to know they went to all those coaching candidates and said, hey, can you fix Bryce Young? And by default, the people they picked had to have said yes. So Dave Canales said during the offseason, pretty likely, that he wanted to fix Bryce Young. And 2 weeks in, he was like, oh, no, I can't do that anymore. So realistically, they have already given up on Bryce Young. They can say whatever they want publicly, but this is a case where actions speak louder than words. To Clinton's point, this is going to go down as maybe the worst trade in a series of awful trades. The Deshaun Watson trade is in this discussion. The Russell Wilson trade is here. I would maybe take the Watson trade as the worst, but this is a brutal series of trades for quarterbacks around the NFL.
Just to scratch a little bit deeper on this, because Clinton's putting it all on the organization. How much of this is on organization, coaching, and how much of this is on Bryce Young, Bill?
It feels like Bryce Young has lost his confidence. And I don't know that anybody could have succeeded behind that offensive line with the worst receivers in football last year. I think they're better this year, and Bryce Young has not developed. He's actually worse than he was a year ago, and that's the biggest concern. But I think they set him up for failure a year ago.
Pablo Torre, how do you view it all?
Yeah. What I just heard is that Bryce Young is now a buy low opportunity for the National Football League. And the issue for the Panthers, of course, Tony, is that they don't want to sell low, right? And so they're lying. They're lying. Of course, they're going to look to get rid of him and get something for him, but they're not going to admit it because that's how you drive down the price that you can get in exchange for him. But for me, all of this redounds to the larger question that we know about in sports and in life. Who are you a win for? And when they got rid of the GM and the coach, the guys who came in with Bryce Young, who ushered him into this organization, once they were gone, he was no longer a win for them before the season even began. And so that's the other layer of why I think a trade is actually even more realistic than they're saying.
And Kevin Blackstone.
They pushed every asset they had basically to get the number 1 pick to get Bryce Young a year ago. They got rid of his coach midway through the season. Now he's on to his 3rd coach, another rookie coach. Do you know what the hardest thing to do in the NFL is? It is to win as a rookie quarterback. You know what the second hardest thing to do is? It is to win as a rookie quarterback with a rookie head coach. You know what the third hardest thing to do is? Is to do all of that with an owner that you have who is absolutely impatient. So they can't get rid of him because they've already drowned his
I'm
worth
hearing
through
that
the
it's
rest of the league.
organization. Some of it has to come down to the quarterback, the way he was in the pocket running around last week. Everyone flagged that as a guy who's lost confidence, is skittish. His feet aren't even under him some throws. Clinton Yates, I'll give you the last word.
You're right, but maintaining that confidence is part of the job when you are an organization. The fact that this kid has even stayed in there, faced the music, said what he needed to say to prove that he wants to be an NFL football player, he's shown more mettle than anybody who's got a clipboard or a headset.
So the team putting out a hype video for Andy Dalton before this week's game against the Raiders. You hyped? Could that get the fans hyped? We'll take a break. Pablo's record-setting day continues. Buy or sell next.
Welcome back to Around the Horn, coming to you from the Seaport. Brought to you by Grey Goose.
Pro Football Hall of Fame candidates. Luke Kuechly, Terrell Suggs, Earl Thomas, among others. Sproles, Vinatieri are on that list as well. Those are some interesting guys. Going to ask you about one in particular, though, and it's this gentleman named Eli Manning. We've had this conversation for like 5, 6, 8 years. Bill Barnwell, is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer?
He is going to be elected into the Hall of Fame, but he is not a Hall of Fame player with a Hall of Fame.
There we go. All right. So let's hear it. Make your argument.
Eli Manning was never close to being considered the best quarterback in football at any point during his career. I struggle to find a year he would have been considered one of the top 5 quarterbacks in all of football. The only thing Eli Manning led the NFL in at any point during his career was interceptions, which he led 3 different times as a pro. Yes, he beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice, but so did Chris Snee, their excellent guard. So did Justin Tuck, their edge rusher, who, by the way, was better than Eli Manning in both of those Super Bowls.
Here we go.
I understand that he is an important person in football history, but being an important person does not make you a Hall of
Kevin
Famer.
Blackistone, around the horn to you.
Well, I don't know. If his name was Billy Channing and not Eli Manning, you might think differently of him. I will just say this about him. Remove the Super Bowls and just talk about his longevity in New York, the fact that he probably holds just about all the quarterback records with the Giants, and in compiling those records, he's basically been a top 10 quarterback if you just look at his production in terms of
so
touchdowns,
you're going to make the
completions,
case for Hall of
yards.
Fame. Even without,
exactly.
Without the Super Bowl,
exactly.
did you say? Whoa.
I'm just taking those out just because when he started mentioning the other members of the team, you started to back away because that's a team award, even though he made some big plays that helped them win those Super Bowls. I'm just talking about his accomplishments as a quarterback that you can look at in terms of numbers.
Pablo Torre, is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer?
You know, my favorite part of KB's answer was watching Bill Barnwell's eye twitch when KB said the word compile. That was magnificent. Look, I believe that Eli Manning is in no way a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he's not a Hall of Famer either. But the difference is if you're to tell me he is going to be like every quarterback except Jim Plunkett, who's eligible right now, who won 2 Super Bowls and got into the Hall of Fame, I'm not gonna throw a fit about it. I get it. We fetishize the postseason. I'm numb to this. But in terms of the record, the resume, I'm with Barnwell.
And you said it right there. Every quarterback who has won 2 Super Bowls is in the Hall of Fame, with the exception of Jim Plunkett. Clinton Yates, will Eli Manning be a Hall of Famer?
You guys are Hall of Fame haters, or what you are. Of course, Eli belongs in the Hall.
Okay.
You can't tell the story of his era, in my opinion, without him. Because, hello, he beat the guy that you all keep praising every single week as the best to ever do it. This is obvious. And on top of that, I will give him some credit as the younger brother of a guy who many people thought was much better. He had to deal with that throughout his whole career. These are the kind of random pressures that matter to me in terms of the human being playing the sport. He dealt with it at Ole Miss. He dealt with it in the pros. And he toppled the Giants say it twice, Chicos. I'm sorry. If that's not enough to get into Kansas, who cares about the Gold Jackets?
Sibling pressure to be a deciding factor to put him over the top.
Yes.
Are you tracking other
It's
players
part of
to
it.
see if they're siblings, sisters or brothers, or rocket scientists? Or
I mean, I watch Arch
James,
Manning at
Hall of
Texas,
Famer.
but what I'm saying is it's real.
Bill, I'll give you the last word here.
Okay, Eli Manning's not a Hall of Famer, but that cover 2 hole shot to Mario Manningham in the second Patriots game, best
Hall of Fame
pass in
throw.
the Super Bowl of all time.
Okay, well, now you're trying to throw him some crumbs. I see what you're doing there. Anyone know Eli Manning's career regular season record?
It's 500, right?
It is. It's exactly 118,
Yeah, it
118.
sounds about
The
even.
postseason, those 2 magical runs.
Not losing.
We'll move on. Buy or sell 2. Second day in a row, Seattle Mariners had wild happenstance, to borrow a word from my friend Michael K. In between the third and home with important plays on the line. Julio Rodriguez would have been the tying run in the 10th. So enormous. That bat comes at him. He has to avoid it, but it was in a strikeout. So then he was caught in no man's land, and the throwdown caught him off the base. It's a double play for the Yankees, and that's how they wound up winning this game. Seattle's wild card chances dwindling by the second with these running mishaps. Clinton, is Rodriguez to blame for being caught there? What is that?
This is a tough one. As the president of Base Running Twitter, this is about a 4 out of 10 on the that can't happen scale. Maniac did tell him to get back, but I want to give some props because yesterday I singled out an umpire. Jeremy Rahak in this delivers the punchy of a lifetime, and he's in perfect position to make this play. Watch that replay again. That is the best guy on the field in that moment.
Is that Rodriguez's fault that a bat was a piece of jagged
it's
lumber
his fault,
coming
but
at him?
I'm not considering that. I'm not considering that a major mistake, but it is
Maybe.
his fault. I'm not running a guy polls for that. Yeah.
If a bat comes flying at me right now, I am bailing out of this seat and you all can finish the show by yourselves. I am not going to blame him for doing that. That was just a natural human being reaction to self-preservation, and it just worked out the way that it did. They ought to be madder in Seattle about the way their season has worked out in total than what happened in this
Pablo
one
Torre.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where baseball is so beautifully stubborn about adhering to the letter of the law. In no way were the rules written such that that guy should be tagged out for trying to save his own life because a bat was flying towards him. It feels like the rules should be changed. Maybe
would
will
you
be.
stop it? Rules be changed. What are you now? Come on now. Maybe we should change some rules about the bonuses of this show. Bill Barnwell, how about you?
Julio Rodriguez could go his entire career and have this never happen again. This confluence of events that happened. I'm not going to blame him. This is a once-in-a-generation example of
that
bats
gets
flying
us
down
to
wrong at the wrong
a
time.
once-in-a-generation example. And let's get you back to the number. You had 176 points on Family Feud, the greatest final money run in the history. Pablo, I mean, now you belong to the ages. A score that will live forever. Can't imagine anyone ever touching the score around the
Eli
world.
Manning of
Unless
Celebrity
they win Jeopardy. I'm calling it now. No showdown. No showdown. Pablo Torre, stick around. It's something I think you're going to enjoy coming up when we get back for you.
I'm now afraid, actually.
The Horn family with its work cut out for it after a subpar first round by Mina Kimes. Ooh, Pablo Torre, get out here. You were in that soundproof room. You couldn't hear anything. Like a mute button for your ears, my friend. But know this, Mina Kimes scored 54 points. Yes, so the future
Always.
dreams and hopes of the Horns are relying on you. You are ready. We're going to get right to it. 146 points. The point total you need. Let's go. We asked 100 sports fans, which NHL team reporting to camp today is under the most pressure?
Leafs.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how nice is the scoring on Around the Horn?
4.
Name the greatest tight end ever created.
Rob Gronkowski.
Try again.
Shannon Sharp.
Name a team you should never cheer for when you're drunk.
Cowboys.
Name the biggest what-if player in the NBA from the 1990s.
Penny.
We got a shot. We got a shot. Oh,
This
okay,
is,
come
this
over
is
here.
mildly triggering.
Oh, we got a shot, my friend.
Being here.
Okay, here we go. There we go. We need 146 points. We asked 100 sports fans which NHL team is under the most pressure this season as teams report. You said Leafs. Survey says. Oh, wow. Big Leafs? Big Leafs. Number one answer, the Leafs. Yes. We need 94 points. On a scale of 1 to 10, how nice is the scoring on Around the Horn? You said about a 4.
Just saying.
Survey says. Yes, 10 was the right answer.
see what's
The number
happening
one
here.
answer, the only answer. Here we go. Let's go. Name the greatest tight end ever created. You said your colleague, Shannon Sharp.
Still scoring fantasy points, by the way, in the Cardinals. For the record.
What are you doing? You're trying to get us. What are you?
No,
What are
scoring.
you doing? Still scoring. Still.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
I think it's defensible.
You said Shannon Sharp. Survey says.
Take that.
Yes, you will take. Gronk
Good
was the
answer.
number one answer.
Good
Gronk
answer.
was the number one answer. We need 71. Name a team you should never cheer for when you're drunk. You drunk right now?
Feeling like it, frankly.
You said them Cowboys. Show me Cowboys. Survey says. There you go, partner. Number one answer. 37 points. This is getting tight here. Name the biggest what-if NBA player of the 90s. You said the penny. If 37 people said the penny, you, my friend, are John Legend. You are the greatest. Show me penny, survey says. Yes! Unbelievable! Oh, the greatest round in around the horn. Family Feud scoring. My man, do this, do this, and all right. Pablo belongs to the ages. We're on a 23-and-a-half-hour break. We'll see you tomorrow around the horn.